Okay, we're live.
We're live. All right, good evening, everyone. I call today's Architectural Review Board meeting to order. Since our chair and vice chair are not present, I move that we appoint the senior member present as chair pro tem for the duration of this meeting. May I have a motion to appoint the senior member as chair pro tem?
I nominate Michael Sirota as chair pro tem for today's meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second? All in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it. Senior staff, Michael Sirota is hereby appointed as chair pro tem. We'll proceed over this meeting. We have members Carney, Asia, and Michael. With the quorum established, we may continue. Our agenda for today has been distributed, and we will start with revisions, move on to continuations, and then on to new matters. So first, continuations. If you when you're called and you're here to represent your applicant, raise your hand and Sarah will let you in to present. State your name and your role in the application, please. So for revisions, we're going to start with 2024-69 Divolo Realty, 39 Fargo Lane. New house. We got John in. John.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hi, how's it going? John Malone, Ferguson Malone Architecture, representing the Sanchez family. We're in front of you because we've made a modification to a previously approved house to add an elevator. So the project had a small projection on the front facade that was related to a powder room at the time, a one-story projections. We made that projection a two-story projection, and it is now holding the elevator, and the powder room has been relocated. So I can quickly show you, that's sort of the limit of the change, but I can share the screen and show you what we've done. So if we look, this is really the effective facade of the project. So if you look in this area here, we had a projection here that was one story and was made out of black metal. We've made this projection two-story. We think it's actually a cool kind of improvement to the project. Instead of being black metal, it's a slatted version of the same wood foot siding that's shown here. So it's the same material, but more of a slatted siding rather than a board siding. And that's really the change that we're here for. We were in front of planning board. We made some changes to the planting just to maybe limit the impact of the change to the street. But again, we like the verticality of it, and we're sort of happy with the change. I don't know if you guys have any questions about that. That really is the limit of what we're in front of you for.
All right, I have no questions. Does anyone on the board have a question?
No.
No. I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you.
We're approved. Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.
Next revision is going to be 2025-59 Spencer, Castle Road, Lot 3.
Sorry, I removed him and he's presented.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Long time no see.
John Malone again, Ferguson Malone Architecture. This again is a relatively small change. It is related to a project we're doing on Castle Road. This is the first and second phase of it, where we're putting in what is it called? A buffer, a native planting buffer along the border that is closest to Halsey Pond. So we had shown a fence there that had, it was a metal fence, a sort of a standard aluminum metal fence that's sort of designed to look like a wrought iron fence, but it's not. It's made of hollow aluminum tubes. But a pretty nice fence, and we had a deer topper on it. So we were required by the planning board, and also just because this is the way we wanted to plan it, to keep the deer out of this area so this native planting could get established without being eaten. And we're changing the fence, instead of having a deer fabric, which is this plastic 1x1 grid, we're changing that to be single wires. So we talked to our planting consultant. They think this would be better. It's much less visible, and it just can be detailed better. So I can share the drawings, so show you what's happening there. It's the right one this time. So the change is really related to, let me get to this. If you look, oops, having trouble with zooming for some reason. So in this area above the standard fence that we had shown, in this area above, there was a fabric, this plastic fabric. And the fabric was continuous along these poles, so it needed to be attached with something, and we were going to attach it with like I don't know, it's almost like a zip tie kind of attachment, and it looked kind of crappy. So this was a solution once we mocked up the first one to simplify, where you're just going to have a black wire between these posts, and it's enough apparently to have the deer take a second thought before they give it a try. And so that's really the change that we're making. You can see that bubble there.
I have no questions about that. Does anyone have any questions?
No questions. I think it's a great change.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
will be much better.
Yeah, it just was like it seemed like a good idea when we first proposed it, and then we saw it mocked up and it was not that good. So we had to change it.
Yeah, that's good. If there are no other comments, I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, good to go.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, now we're gonna move on to continuations. 2025-54 Catlin, 16 North Dutcher Street, solar panels. If you're here to represent 16 North Dutcher, please raise your hand. You see anyone? No. There, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry for that. I didn't catch the address. Is this for 16 North Dutcher?
Yes, it is.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that will be us. Yeah, my name is Pasquale from Solar Energy New York. We're here to request permission for solar panels on this house. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So this is the proposed plan here. We have panels on the two sides of the house and on the garage. The garage is pretty far back in the driveway. These are all black on black panels. They will be installed on the house here. In the previous submission, we had panels on the flat roof here. We removed those and we put them on the garage. We have a total of 22 panels on this project. Do you have any question for me?
And the garage, the panels on the garage, what's the exposure on that? That's southern exposure?
This is southern, yes. Would be the southern exposure.
Is it a flat roof or
The garage, no, the garage is also tilted. The only flat roof is this square here where we removed all the panels.
I think you made the changes that we asked for.
Yeah, that was the only, I believe the only thing that was raising a bit of concerns.
All right, I have no questions. Does anyone have any questions? All right, so if there's no questions, then I'm move to approve this application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, Pasquale, you're good to go.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yep.
Bye.
Moving on to new matters, 2025-61, Gustafson, 14 Barney Park, fence.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Hi, good evening. My name is Hannah Gustafson, and I am the resident and applicant for a new fence at 14 Barney Park. Let me just share my screen and I can go through a couple of slides I've prepared. Do feel free to tell me to skip over anything that you feel is unnecessary. Looking here, this is just showing the location of the property here on Barney Park. And I think when I did the online application, I may have marked it as within the historic district. So it's just showing this map to clarify that it is not within the historic district of the town. Here's the location on the zoning map, showing the single family residential and reference to the town code with regard to permitted uses within that zone district, particularly that fences not over 6.5 feet in height may be erected as of right on the property. Here is a copy of the survey of the property. So up here is Barney Park, the street itself. And can you see my cursor?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And the highlighted area is the back of the property that fronts on to the creek there. So it would be 143 feet that we are looking to install along the backyard where it reaches that creek, particularly as a safety concern more than anything. We have young children and it's a pretty steep drop off right now from the back of our yard down into the water. To just give you an indication of the view, here's from the street. So it's the property goes down towards the water. So the fence would be back here. You wouldn't really see it from the street itself. And here's just an image of the type of fence that we're thinking of, a black aluminum, or not thinking of, but that we have decided upon, provided that it is acceptable to this board. It's a black aluminum intended to look like a wrought iron. It has decorative bulbs at the top. Here's a cut sheet showing the specifications of that. It would be 4 feet tall. And then I just have some additional images that are of the property and where we would intend to place it. So this is the back of the property. This is the back of our house, yard looking down into the creek. So kind of there's quite full foliage up here. It would be starting at the end of that tree. We'd be looking to install it along the length here. So here's a view in the opposite direction. So kind of along this area, just multiple photos kind of showing you can see here our neighbors on the other side have a fence quite similar to what we intend to install. Here's directly across from our property on the other side of the creek. They have a fence that looks like that. So it seems pretty consistent with what's in the neighborhood, but here's another kind of view. So we would be installing it along here where there's just kind of exposure straight to the water. And that's really, I just have a bunch of pictures, so I'm glad to answer any questions that you might have, or if there are any of the slides that you'd like me to go back to.
Are you gonna put any gates on that fence or no, just a
We
straight
weren't
fence?
planning on it because it won't, it would just be a fence. It's really just a security measure. At
Yeah.
the end where you can kind of, I think at the end back over here is where it would end. And that's, again, they're kind of trees, so you can go around it and go between the trees to get down to the creek if you wanted. So there's not really a purpose for a gate.
Okay, so you have no plans to do it on the sides of the house either, just
No,
straight
it's
along the back?
purely just like a safety. We want to be able to kind of over in this area where it would end, it's a much less steep kind of incline down towards the water. So we'd want to be able to in the future kind of have that access there. But right here where this doesn't make it look steep, but it is in some of these. It's just that we want that fence to kind of where if kids were running,
Yeah,
and weren't looking where they were going, they could very easily just kind of tumble.
good idea. I have no further questions. Does anyone have any questions? All right, if there's no further questions, I move to approve the application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank
Good to
you.
go, Hannah.
Thanks very much. May I just ask, what do I need? Do I get something from the town now that I then provide to the fence company, or I just can tell them that they can go ahead and get started?
No, I think you have to,
Wait for the building permit to be issued.
yeah, you have to get a permit from the building department. That should be issued with really little issue or no issue.
I just call them to follow up.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
And the last one, 2025-62, Hyder, 12 Hudson Road East.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Alan Ross. I'm the architect representing Colette and Jawad Hayder, the owners of 12 Hudson Road East. I'll share my screen to walk the board through the application. Let's see here. Where would I do that?
The share button is at the bottom of the screen. It's a green button.
Got it. Thanks, sir. Okay. Here we go. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. So this is 12 Hudson Road East here. This is the front of the house, back of the house. On the east side of the house, there is a particular type of siding that's problematic and rotting. And then there's a deck here. So the application is to replace the rail of this deck with one. The current rail is not code compliant because of the openings in between the spindles. Replace the railing guardrail at this deck with one that was previously approved by the ARB that is currently installed over here, and replace the siding at this side of the house with the same siding that's covering the second floor and some of the first floor of the rest of the house. So here you can see, here you can see this is the current railing that will be replaced with this railing here, which is, as I say, previously approved by the ARB. It's sturdier and is safer, and I think aesthetically nicer. And regarding the siding, previous owner had installed this siding here, which is very all these corners here, this water collects and has led to paint failure and rot. It's just a bad design, and it's kind of clumsily executed too. So the intent is to replace that with the siding, the same siding that is elsewhere on the house. It's a sort of a staggered cedar shingle with striations on it. You can see that in this elevation here. So this is the Chinoides siding and rail, and replaced with the cedar that matches the rest of the house. And on the other elevation, you can see the existing siding that's problematic being replaced with, again, cedar siding that matches the rest of the house. That's pretty much it.
Okay. I had no questions. Does anyone have any questions? All right, if there's no further comments. I move to approve this application as stated in the documentation. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, you're good to go.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah. Close this out. All right, if there's no further business, we'll make a motion to adjourn.